Magical birth registered. Hogwarts has this ancient system that registers magical kids before they even know they're magical. No, there isn't a lady at a desk doing paperwork, it's two enchanted objects, the Book of Admittance and the Quill of Acceptance. Think of them like a magical sign-up sheet and a very picky feather. Here's how it works. When a baby with magical potential is born, the quill tries to write their name. It's like, oh, a tiny wizard. But it doesn't just scribble every time a baby sneezes and knocks a rattle off a crib. The quill waits for a proper sign that magic is actually there. And the book is stricter than Professor McGonagall in exam week. It only opens when the magic is real enough that Hogwarts is confident the child truly belongs. If the book doesn't open, the quill can't finish writing. So Hogwarts doesn't accidentally register every weird coincidence as magic. Because imagine getting a Hogwarts letter just because you once burped and the lights flickered. That would be embarrassing. So basically, Hogwarts has a magical yes-no system that quietly starts a file on the child the moment their magic is undeniable. No owl, no fireworks, no congratulations, just a name written down in a castle far, far away by a feather that's been judging children for 1,000 years. And once that name is in the book, Hogwarts doesn't forget it, ever. Accidental magic confirms ability. Okay, so once the book and quill have a child's name, Hogwarts doesn't immediately send a letter like, "Congrats, you're a wizard, pack your bags." No. Hogwarts does this very Hogwarts thing where it quietly waits and watches, because kids' magic is messy. You know, when someone gets really angry and slams a door, imagine doing that and the door explodes, Seamus style, or an aunt inflates like a balloon, Harry style, or all the child's hair turns blue because they panicked. That's accidental magic. It's magic that happens without a wand, usually because feelings go boom, and the magic goes, oh yeah? Watch this. This is extra important if the child lives with muggles, non-magical people, because they don't have any context. If a kid in a wizard family makes a teacup fly across the kitchen, mom just goes, honestly, and cleans it up. But if a kid in a muggle house does it, suddenly it's, is this house haunted? And someone's calling the telly people. So the magical world tries to avoid attention. Hogwarts can't just show up every time a child accidentally does something weird, but there are ways the wizarding world notices patterns like repeated impossible incidents around the same child. That's why they wait until about 11. By then, the magic has shown up enough times that it's not just a coincidence. So, step 2 is basically Hogwarts and the magical system keep an eye on the chaos and make sure a magical child doesn't accidentally turn an entire neighborhood into a headline. Eligibility is confirmed around age 11. By this point, Hogwarts already knows the kid is magical. The question becomes, is the magic clear enough and steady enough that it's time to bring them into proper wizard education? And yes, Hogwarts waits until around age 11 on purpose. Not because they're lazy, because teaching magic to younger kids would be like handing a wand to a baby and hoping for the best. Imagine a toddler learning Wingardium Leviosa during a tantrum. Half the house would float into the ceiling, the other half would explode, and someone would definitely get blamed. Probably Percy, somehow. So, Hogwarts gives it time. Childhood magic is like a storm, random, emotional, and loud. But by 11, there's usually been enough accidental magic incidents to prove it's not coincidence. Like, once is weird, twice is suspicious, 15 times is, yeah, that's a wizard. This is also where Hogwarts quietly checks for special situations. Is the child raised by muggles who don't understand magic? Are there safety risks? Is the kid famous, cursed, or somehow connected to massive historical chaos? Because Hogwarts isn't just choosing a student, it's bringing a child into a hidden society with laws, secrecy rules, and, let's be honest, occasional basilisk problems. And here's the other reason age 11 matters. It's old enough for the child to travel, live at school, and actually learn. Hogwarts isn't magic daycare, it's a full-on boarding school with moving staircases, strict professors, and a forest that absolutely does not care if someone is short. So, Chapter 3 is basically Hogwarts going, right, the magic is real, the kid is the right age, they're ready for training. And once Hogwarts decides that, the next step is the famous one. Hogwarts acceptance letter is issued. Ah yes, the letter, the most important piece of parchment in wizard history. And no, it's not just a welcome note. It's basically Hogwarts saying, "Congratulations, you are now part of this world. Here are the rules. Don't die." The Hogwarts letter arrives in late July, and it usually includes 3 big things. Number 1, the official acceptance message. Number 2, the school term information, like when to show up. And number 3, the supply list, which is both exciting and slightly terrifying if the kid has never heard the word cauldron before. Wizard families react like it's normal, because it is. Mom just shouts your name, you run in, everyone cheers, and Fred and George probably try to set the letter on fire for fun. But for Muggle families, this letter is basically a magical grenade. They open it, and it's like, "Hello, your child is a wizard. They will be leaving home for a castle." And Hogwarts expects problems, by the way. Some letters get ignored. Some get hidden by parents. Some get ripped up. In Harry's case, the Dursleys tried to block the letters like they were fighting an army of paper. Hogwarts responded by sending more letters, then more, then Hagrid through a door. Because once the letter is issued, Hogwarts isn't asking permission from the universe, it's delivering a fact. So the step is where everything becomes official. The child isn't just magical, they're a future Hogwarts student with a start date, a checklist, and absolutely no idea what they're about to walk into. Explanation to Muggle families if needed. This is where the wizarding world has to do something very difficult. Talk to Muggles calmly, which, trust me, is harder than fighting a troll. At least trolls don't ask 1,000 questions. So, Muggles are non-magical people. They don't know about spells, dragons, or that the Ministry of Magic exists. To them, Hogwarts sounds like a prank letter written by a lunatic. So, if a magical child is born into a Muggle family, Hogwarts can't just send a letter and hope for the best. That's how a kid ends up not going to school at all, or accidentally levitating the neighbor's dog and getting on the evening news. So, Hogwarts sends someone, usually a professor or a trusted staff member, to explain everything in person. And the explanation is basically, good news, your child isn't weird, they're magical, and the safest thing is to train that magic properly. This is exactly why Hagrid didn't just hand Harry a letter and leave. Harry's guardians were actively trying to pretend magic didn't exist. So Hagrid had to do the whole introduction. What Hogwarts is, what wizards are, why Harry's life is about to change forever, and also, very importantly, why a giant owl might show up at the window sometimes, and that this is normal and not a hostage situation. And yes, the Muggle parents usually freak out. That's normal. Imagine learning your kid can do impossible things and the solution is send them to a castle. Hogwarts expects panic, disbelief, and dramatic questions like, is this safe? Will they come back? Do you have exams? Yes, unfortunately. Now, here's the part people always forget. What do the parents tell everyone else? Because Muggle families have neighbors, relatives, teachers, and very nosy friends. And eventually someone asks, so, where did your kid go to school? That's where the cover story comes in. Hogwarts helps Muggle families use a very boring explanation. Private boarding school, special academy, very strict school with no phones, which honestly is all true, just less dragons. Parents are told not to overshare. No details, no photos, just vague answers. As for old friends, that's harder. Letters stop, birthdays get missed. From the Muggle side, it looks like the kid disappeared, and that's part of the magic. Hogwarts teaches spells, but it also teaches silence. So, step 5 is basically the wizarding world doing gentle damage control, answering questions, proving it's real, and making sure the family understands that Hogwarts isn't stealing their child. Hogwarts is protecting them. School supplies and wand acquisition. Now comes the fun part, shopping. Magical shopping. This is where everything starts feeling real, because suddenly it's not just a letter, it's here's a list of things the kid must own or they will literally not survive first-year potions. First stop for most new students is Gringotts, the Wizarding Bank. Picture a giant marble building run by goblins who look like they were born suspicious. And they were. They guard piles of gold and ancient vaults, and they do not smile for strangers. Wizard money is different from Muggle money. Galleons, sickles, newts, very shiny. And very easy to lose if you're me. For Muggle families, Gringotts is where they exchange regular money into wizard money. For kids like Harry, it's where they find out they have had a vault the whole time, which is both amazing and slightly unfair to the Weasleys. But anyway, then comes Diagon Alley, the main wizard shopping street. And yes, it's real, hidden behind a pub called the Leaky Cauldron, which sounds like a place you'd catch something horrible, but it's actually fine. This is where students buy robes, books, cauldrons, and the big one, a wand. The wand chooses the wizard. That's not just a saying. Ollivander literally tests wands until one reacts properly. And when it does, it's like the wand goes, "Yep, that one, that's mine." Harry's wand is famous because it's connected to Voldemort's wand, which is not ideal for a peaceful school year. So, step 6 is basically get the money, get the gear, get the wand, then stare at the pile of textbooks and realize school is actually happening. September 1st arrival protocol. Alright, this is the day everyone remembers forever, September 1st. And no, it's not symbolic, it's a very specific schedule, and Hogwarts is terrifyingly good at schedules. All new students are told to get to King's Cross Station in London, which is a completely normal Muggle train station. Loud, busy, full of people who absolutely do not know magic exists, and hidden somewhere between Platform 9 and Platform 10 is Platform 9 3/4. To get there, students walk straight at a solid brick wall. Yes, a wall. No knocking, no testing it with a toe. Just walk confidently like nothing's wrong. The wall is enchanted so Muggles don't notice people vanishing into it, which is good, because otherwise the station would shut down immediately. Now, why a train? Why not teleport everyone? Because apparition is dangerous, illegal for kids, and one wrong move could leave someone's arm behind. The train keeps everyone together, safe and supervised. Plus, it gives first years a time to calm down and meet people before being sorted into houses that will judge them forever. The Hogwarts Express leaves at exactly 11:11 a.m. Late arrivals are not encouraged. Once the train starts moving, Hogwarts takes responsibility for every student on board. Parents can't follow. There's no turning back. And yes, this is usually when everyone suddenly realizes they forgot something important. So, step 7 is the official crossing point. The moment the Wizarding World says, "Right, we've got them now." And the moment the students realize this is really happening. Arrival and sorting ceremony. Okay, deep breath, because this is where Hogwarts goes full drama. When the train arrives near Hogwarts, first years don't walk into the castle like it's a school tour. That would be far too normal. Instead, they are taken across the Black Lake in little boats at night, with the castle towering above them like it's judging every bad decision they've ever made. This is intentional. Hogwarts wants the first impression to be unforgettable, slightly terrifying, very impressive. Once inside Hogwarts, things move fast. There's no settling in, no unpacking, no snacks. Straight to the Great Hall for the sorting ceremony. This is where the sorting hat comes in. Yes, it talks. Yes, it reads minds. And no, you cannot lie to it. It looks at what a student values, how they think, what they want, and what they might become, not just what they're good at right now. That's why it sometimes hesitates, and that's why choice matters. Harry could have been in Slytherin. The hat saw ambition, but Harry chose differently, and that choice mattered. Once sorted, everything changes. The student has a house, a table, a dormitory, and suddenly hundreds of older students who claim their family. The process is finished. But Hogwarts isn't the only place teaching magic. All 11 wizarding schools in Harry Potter explained. That's your next lesson here at Stickman Hogwarts. Click now before Fred and George burn your Hogwarts letter again.